Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. The jumps action continues marching on. And although last week we did cover the race, we're going to cover it again this week. The Grade 1 Ladbrokes Champion Chase at Down Royal. Fantastic race, which sees the likes of Gerri Colombe starting their season off, as well as My Fancy Conflates, but we'll sure get into that. Over in the UK, we've got the Badger Beer Handicap, the Grand Sefton at Aintree, and plenty of graded races as well. Gentlemen, it's been a good time for jumps racing. We're starting to see the proper ones out. We saw one today as we record in Iroko at Warwick. We're seeing all these horses. Lee, it's an exciting time to be a jumps fan because you get to see all these exciting horses out on the track finally.
Yeah, that good jumping horse, Vorbat. Oh, actually, I'll best not mention Vorbat. No, there's plenty of good horses being out. Like you say, Iroko the day was cracking. I thought that was a fine round of jumping, warm to the task. Yeah, nice introduction. I think the top three in that race are ones to watch, and one earlier on as well on the card. I Know the Way You're Thinking. I put that one up as one to watch a few weeks back, and that one ran a stormer behind Imagine. I think the top four in that race as well, if you go back and look, are ones to watch for the season as well. But yeah, nice to get stuck into the jumps.
Yeah, and it's just, Racing Twitter or Racing X, just a swarm of chat at the moment. And like you said, that Kilbeg King back in third. If I know Anthony Honeyball even half the man that he is, then that'll be Punchestown lined up already because he loves the Punchestown Festival, especially with that horse. Harry, we've got a good weekend of racing, both on this side of the Irish Sea and in Ireland. So it's something to be excited about, even though we're many days away.
Do you know what? It's kind of worked perfectly. The fact that we actually missed Down Royal last weekend, because it just means that this weekend we've got a bumper day and a bumper couple of days of racing. It's obviously Friday, the Down Royal meeting, as well as Exeter, and then Saturday we've got Aintree as well with the Sefton, which we will be covering as well. It really starts to feel that the jumps is on its way back. It's getting colder outside. I mean, the clocks have changed, and it's dark at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. It's dark when you wake up now. It's one of those things that you would take your dog on a walk and you think, jumps weather.
Jumps weather, yeah, I can tell you. I was at where was I today? I was Warwick today, and It was bitterly cold. It may have been sunny, but it was bitterly cold. And seeing Tom Stanley there racing TV so that all day, I don't envy him at all. He was absolutely frozen. The beauty of the Sunday show, as we do record that 7 to 8 on Twitter, is we do our eye catchers and our big talk about the horses that have just gone by on that show, so we can get stuck into it on the YouTube channel. We've got 5 races to cover. No, six races potentially with the Ladbrokes. I can't count properly. We've got lots of races to cover. The first one is on the Friday. We don't have any prices, but it is the Haldon Gold Cup, a good race at Exeter, the Grade 2 Limited Handicap Chase. I'm going to run through the 10 runners very quickly. Ezra Jeet topping the weights. First Flow, Solo, Brave Siaska, Indiana Jones, Elixir de Nuts, Warlord, Calico, No Riste Flow, and Heltenham. That is the 10 as we speak at entry stage. I'm going to go over to Lee first of all. Lee, you fancy one that a certain other weekend tipping show has also put up?
Yeah, look, the lads are up with the ante, Johnny and DJ. They've put up Warlord, but I did put them up on Sunday on our Sunday show. So we'll be to get them ones in. Look, you've got to get them in early, lads. You've got to get them in early, 7 to 8.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Where's Chris Paul?
He'll have a time, it's fine. But yeah, Warlord for me. £9 lower than last season in this race. Was sent off 15 to 8. Very short. Grenadine ended up winning the race, but off 140, £9 lower. I think it's got a solid each way chance. I just think, like I mentioned the other day, that the Tizzards are ahead of last season. 23% strike rate in the last 14 days. They've had 5 winners. Their placed runners are doing well as well. Warlord was 4th in an Arkle and then ran 2nd in the Grade 1 at Aintree 2 seasons back. Kind of all at sea last season, but like I say, £9 lower. I think it's got a solid each way chance.
Yeah, Warlords. I agree with your statement there. I saw the Tizzards, last season potentially a bit disappointing for them. The likes of the Big Breakaway, who we will talk about later in a race that he's going to appear on the weekend. I think they're a bit unlucky and a bit maybe slightly sad to see that he didn't pick up a big one last season. Warlord especially as well, and he's handicapped to do something there. So I think it could be quite a nice year for the Tizzards, at least this year or potentially next year as well. It could be quite good for the yard. Harry, what do you fancy in the Haldon Gold Cup?
Yeah, well, just touching on Warlord, what Lee mentioned, and Johnny Deneen also mentioned as well, it doesn't really matter what mark Warlord is off, because regardless of what mark he is, if he's on a going day, he could quite easily demolish this field, because he's such a talented animal. But then the only reason I've gone against him is because he's on such a bad run that he might just need a good run to get him back in the swing of things. So that's why I've sided with Indiana Jones in this one. Miles Morris has been flying. Gentleman's Game was a brilliant winner of the Charlie Hall, just stuck on so determinedly. And this horse, I just think is handicapped to do something well, and I think this might be his perfect run, and his perfect race to target as such. He finished third of 4 in a Punchestown, in the Grade 1. It was I can't remember the name of it now for the life of me, but anyway, El Fabiolo pissed in, Darsart Dynamo was in second, and Indiana Jones wasn't given a winning chance, let's say. Whether he'd have beaten El Fabiolo, he wouldn't have. But it was just a pleasing run. And that the collateral form lines, I think, are very good and better than this field suggests, in my opinion. At the start of last year, he made all in a Punchestown Novice Chase. He beat the likes of Galley Hill. It was obviously a talking horse at that time, and in February last season, he was supposed to be this brilliant horse for Gordon Elliott, but he kind of lost his way. But he put him to bed very, very easily and jumped really well. I think this test at Exeter will suit him. He'll get his ground. I can't see it being too bad. It's officially described as soft, but I can't imagine it'll be awful ground at all. So Indiana Jones is the one for me. A 7-year-old, I think he could just exploit that mark of 147.
Yeah, it's interesting, obviously, with the Irish Raider coming over. So you'd like to see how he goes. And obviously, Miles Morris, fresh off raiding Britain last week, and hopefully he can do it again for you there, Harry. For me, personally, obviously, no price to look at now, but I think one that could be probably well found in the market. But I say the chances, it represents that. I fancy Solo here. Look, Paul Nicholls is a master at readying horses for races that he wants to win, and he's made no secret in the fact that this has been the plan for Solo since mid-July. He said it in his Racing Post stable tour. He's been saying it for a couple of weeks now, that this has been always the plan for Solo since they came back into his yards. You can see why, he beat That's All Right Gino the sort of middle to back end of last season in February. That was on good ground at Kempton. That's All Right Gino, is a nice horse for Jamie Snowden. Even had Boot Hill back in third, who's gone really frank the form since just this season, actually. And then pulled up at Sandown, probably just a little bit stretching his ability on stamina wise, and he had a fair enough long season last year. He raced 5 times, and coming to the end of it there, you can maybe make an excuse that the handicapper hasn't touched him for that run. He did pull up, but that's fine by me, really. He's not going. The handicapper's not going to drop him for a pulled up effort there. But I can see that this soft ground and the test of Exeter working out really well. He's a horse who goes amazingly well fresh. He won at Sandown on soft ground last season over 2.5. He beat Jitmaker that day, and the form potentially isn't one to really go and grab onto, but he just did it as you like, really, and you can only beat what's put in front of you. Marker 149 is still workable. We've seen Nicholls win this race in the past with very good horses who are towards the top end of what their handicap is, but because they're a very good horse, they get over it, and I think Solo is going to be one of that. He's in a race that is a bit muddling because a lot of horses, for example, Warlord, on their best form can bounce back to winning a race like this. Solo, you just know he's going to be absolutely ready, like cherry ripe ready for a race like this. And Nicholls, I just had a little look into his form, and look, maybe this is a bit of recency bias in the fact that Brave Man's Game lost, but I'm not sure how 100% fit Brave Man's Game was for that race. And I think with the horses that he's been wanting to get ready first time out, they've been delivering for him. Red Risk finishing second in the Grade 2. Captain Bellamy winning his bumper on the first try of asking this season. These horses are ready, and he's in good enough form for my liking. So, yeah, I'll be siding with Nicholls' runner here in Solo. and hopefully we found a winner there between the three of us. We'll move on, gentlemen, to the Saturday. Good cards on Saturday. We have 3 meetings we'll be looking at, but the first of which is at Wincanton, the Grade 2 Rising Star Novices Chase at 150. Paul Nicholls is topping the market in this as well. Nappers Hill 11-10. Might I 9-4 for Harry Fry. Captain Combi 5-1. JPR 1 for the Tizzards there again 5. Stay Away Faye probably going to go elsewhere, but is priced up at 7-1. Harry, I'll come over to you. What do you fancy in the Rising Stars?
Yeah, short and sweet, Ash, for me. I think Nappers Hill, I thought I was actually maybe one of the few that wasn't too displeased with his chasing debut behind Unexpected Party. Now, you mentioned Paul Nicholls obviously targeting the horses for certain races at the start of the season and wanting them to go on to win. I don't believe Nappers Hill was there to destroy Unexpected Party, whereas Dan Skelton came out after the race and said, this is basically Unexpected Party's Gold Cup. Like, this was a race they've lined up for this horse for months now. And he delivered. He kind of, Nappers Hill, he jumped well on the hole. He hung a little bit left, I thought, maybe at the top of the straight. But it wasn't anything to be worried about, I thought. And he kept on pretty nicely. And the pair pulled a mile clear of Bella Bliss, who, I mean, they're obviously entitled to do that because they're miles clear on ratings. But I just think with that experience under his belt and the cobwebs maybe just dusted off a little bit, he should be a force to be reckoned with now. The likes of JPR 1, that horse obviously won at Newton Abbot, but has a lot to find on official ratings. And Mai Tai, I mean, Mai Tai jumped 14 fences absolutely beautifully at Newton Abbot and then got to the 15th one, or it might have been the one before, and just went, nah, not having this. I'm just going to walk through it, and that would be my worry. Just his slight tendency to just throw in the towel. I don't really like that in a horse, and I can see the pair pulling a good way clear of the remainder in this. But I just think Nappers Hill, he obviously won on this card last year, winning the Elite Hurdle. And I think if Mai Tai gets anywhere near Nappers Hill, he won't want to go past anyway. So Nappers Hill's probably a good bet, 11-10.
Nappers Hill 11-10. It's the same for you as well, isn't it, Lee? You fancy Nappers Hill?
Yeah, look, I think Mai Tai is not the most assured jumper for me. Didn't put it in last time out. Very classy horse, but Nappers Hill has got form in the book, has won the Elite Hurdle, was second, beat Goshen the back end of last season in a Grade 2. In that listed race as well, he was outpaced behind Unexpected Party. I don't want to say it's a schooling session, but he didn't break his balls and he come home well. He ended up like just getting him to jump and learn on the job, and he ended up closing to the line. He was beating less than 3 lengths there. I just think it was a good introduction. Nicholls targets this meeting as he does at Exeter as well, to be fair. And this weekend, I think he'll have all guns blazing, and I think he'll take the world of beating. The one I would give a neat race squeak to, and maybe it's the danger, is that JPR 1, because he jumped like a dream on chase debut. He hasn't had as many chances as the rest of them, and this could be his season. I thought that was a cracking introduction as well. So yeah, Nappers Hill to win, but maybe I'll have a save on JPR 1 as well.
Yeah, it's a tough race, and I always find this Rising Stars a tough race to work out. And look, I'm not going to sit here and knock Nappers Hill at the top of the market, because when Nicholls readies one, he readies one, and he instantly said after Chepstow, you'll see a different horse when it comes to the Rising Stars. He's already had that race in mind, and you'll see a different horse. He'll come on massively before the run. I thought it was different to most season openers that you see from horses where they sort of travel well into a race and then blow up. I thought Nappers Hill was struggling to travel, but then once he did go, he looked like like he was going with great guns towards the finish there, and just he was eased off because Cobden knew he couldn't win really. So I think it was a fair enough run from Nappers. I don't think he blew up or anything like that, or he's lacking for fitness.
There was that camera angle, wasn't there, Ash? There was a camera angle at Chepstow when he looked like he was really closing the gap on Unexpected Party, and then all of a sudden Harry Skelton jumped the second last. He thought, it's a little bit deceiving, isn't it? But like you said, it wasn't at all bad.
Harry Skelton had already the bird had flown basically, and it's hard to take it back, like you say, Ash. Why try and close when you don't need to? If you know what I mean, he already knows that the race is kind of gone, and like I say, he didn't break his balls to do it.
Yeah, and you've got a horse for the season there, haven't you? You've got Unexpected Party running for its life, and Nappers Hill, who, as you've just mentioned, Ash, Paul Nicholls has came out and said that this horse you're going to see a different animal. This is where you'll see the real Nappers Hill on Saturday. And
Party as well, because if I'm right, he's Paddy Power bound, isn't he?
Who's this?
Unexpected Party.
Yeah, he is Paddy Power. Yeah, Paddy Power.
So,
yeah,
like, just shows like he would have a squeak in a Paddy Power as well. Do you know what I mean? I think that's good form to even finish second to him. They were a long way clear.
Yeah, and like I think it was a good race. I think it was, I'm not going to knock Nappers at all. I am going to take him on with Mai Tai though, because I'm looking at the form of both of them, and I dare I say I think Mai Tai's got better form than Nappers Hill. I think Mai Tai suffers a little bit from, and I love Up in the Ante to bits. I love DJ to bits, but I think he suffers a little bit from the fact that DJ was massively on him last season. So everyone's gone, oh, he's a good horse, and then he disappointed, like when he lost at Haydock, and then like DJ's thinking he was a stayers hurdle horse, and he didn't turn into that. He disappointed at Haydock, and then finished second to Hacker de Place at Cheltenham. By the way, Hacker de Place had been plotted out for that race by Nicholls, so like to finish second to a neck by that, fair play. And then he's gone and finished fourth at Cheltenham behind Iroko and the Martin Pipe. I know it's a slightly different mould to a lot of Martin Pipe horses, and the fact that they're novices coming into it and they go on, Galopin de Champs, Iroko, for example, is a different mould to that. But look, the form's still there, like Iroko won the race. No Ordinary Joe was well handicapped to finish second, and is a nice horse from Nicky Henderson. Buddy One was back in third, who's absolutely minced the field on his second start this season at Galway for marker 138, absolutely destroyed him. Imagines won as we record today on his chasing debut. Firm Footing's a nice horse, so the form works out quite well from that Martin Pipe already. And then he's gone and finished second to Complete Unknown last time out. Complete Unknown, Nicholls has come out and said that horse he really fancies for the Coral Gold Cup if it keeps raining, and Complete Unknown's a good horse. So to get, I know he was in receipt of weight, but to get and give Complete Unknown a good race on first season outing, I think that's all right form, and I think he'll handle softer ground better than Nappers Hill. Nappers Hill is not one that wants it a bog, and it could turn into fairly soft conditions at Wincanton on the weekend. And I think Mai Tai will just be better adept to handling that. Now, we don't have the official weights here, but I'm reading the race conditions. It says a winner of a Class 2 weight for age or a Class 1 handicap chase gets £3 in penalties. Or if it's a Class 1 weight for age chase, that's £5. So none of them get any penalties, it seems. So they will be running off the level weight. So it has got to find £8 in official ratings. But on form, with conditions potentially a bit more favoured in the side, I'll have a windy selection on Mai Tai at 9-4, because I think potentially could catch Nappers Hill napping, shall I say? Pardon the pun. Thank you very much, Harry. Thank you. We'll move on before anyone turns off the video. The Grade 2 Elite Hurdle, 225 at Wincanton, 41 grand to the winner. And it could be, as Lee said, a very good weekend for Paul Nicholls. Rubord topping the market, 4-5. Hansard, 7-4. And then we drop in the prices, 7-1 for West Balboa, though she was like an intended runner at Aintree. Too Friendly, 8-1. Molly's Ollie's Wishes, 16s, and bigger prices about the two outsiders. Lee, I'll give you first stab at this one, because you and Harry, you seem to be you're like on countdown when the numbers rounds on. You're sharing sheets together, and you've got similar selections here.
Look, I'll just literally keep it simple. I think Rubard is the best of the bad bunch. Last time out, gives £6 in a good beating in a listed race. Won the Scottish Champion Hurdle at Ayr back end of last season. Is a Grade 2 Dovecote winner. I think maybe his Grade 2 is probably, that's their bag. But it's just, I think this race is there for the taking. Like you say, West Balboa is probably entry bound. So yeah, Rubard for me.
Lovely stuff. Harry, you also like Rubard as well?
Yeah, I really like Rubard, and it kind of ties in with a horse that I mentioned as one of my horses to follow. Now, he was actually defeated by Rare Edition by 7 lengths, but I think people are forgetting this horse was a 4-year-old taking on the oldest last season, and to put up the performances that he did, so beating the likes of Brentford Hope in fairly convincing style. I know obviously that form isn't probably too much to look at, but then 7 lengths behind Rare Edition, who was then at that, after winning that novice hurdle, was something stupid like 12-1 or something, 10-1 for the Supreme. Like he was rumoured to be a really good thing. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end, but I do think Rare Edition is one to keep an eye on. But this horse this year at Kempton, I was very impressed by this horse. Beating the likes of First Street and Too Friendly, who obviously I think reappears in this one. I'm not too sure. Is he in this one? Too Friendly? I think he is.
I don't think I see.
Yeah, he is 8-1.
Yeah.
But he just looks a more mature horse now, and he's just jumping better. He's always been good at jumping, but he's so quick away from them. And horses don't really like to. Some horses, when they go from the front, especially Paul Nicholls is one, you can't, if you've got your money down on them, it's pretty nice viewing. And if Harry Cobden's pushing along at an early stage, you're usually in the shit. But Rhubarb is one of those horses that he travels so strongly, but you know he'll keep finding. And he did at Campton. He made, as soon as Harry Cobden gave him a few flicks, he was away and gone. And for me,
he's no Grade 1 winner, is he? He's not a Grade 1 winner waiting. But these type of races, Nicholls is going to target early on, get as much money in the satchel as he can, and these are there for the taking. And this is piss poor, and he'll win it.
Yeah, do you know what? He's rated 150 now, and if he wasn't so high, I think he'd have Betfair hurdles written all over him. And obviously, he ran in it this time last season, but he was taking on horses that were so unexposed, it was ridiculous. But he's probably one of those horses that reminds me like Pic D'Orhy. I know Pic D'Orhy's a Grade 1 winner, but a good Grade 2 winner. But at the top. Yeah, but at the top level, will he suffice? I don't think he would. But this level, he should be smashing these into next week.
Without trying to have similarities between the last two races, I am the one on my own, and I'm taking the second fav. I'm with Hansard here. I just think it's skinny enough. Rhubarb taking 4-5 about a horse who, the last time we saw this horse perform on soft ground, he was beaten fairly comfortably by Rare Edition, and I think there's upside to backing Hansard here. If you can, I know we, if buts and maybes and all this jazz, but me and Lee, we sort of share a similar philosophy in this, that you can ignore a run from a horse. You can give a horse a run, and if you do that for Hansard last season, that run in the Dovecot where he sent off 9-4 fav. The vet could show there was no abnormalities from the vet. Trainer could offer no explanation. He just disappointed. He just disappointed in the Dovecot, and that's fine by me. But if you take that run out, he's won twice last season, and he's finished 4th in a Grade 1 behind In the Pocket. A race that's littered with good form, it seems. Strong leader in 2nd, Lucia in 3rd, Pembroke in 5th, even Matata, the Nigel Twiston-Davis for Simon Neer and Isaac Swade. That horse who bolted up in a novice handicap chase at the start of this season, that was back in 6th. Tamura's back in 7th. Found a 50 back in 8th. Outer Belly back in 9th. No Looking Back in 10th. Rare Edition in 11th. That race is very, very good. And probably, finishing 4th in that race, a good 4th, may I add, when he was 40-1. It works out really nicely. Again, it was that stage of the Grand National meeting where the ground was still riding a little bit softer, and he ran a really good race, so just finished 4.5 lengths behind In the Pocket. Before that, 3 starts back, should we go? Beat Master Chewy when giving away £7 for Nigel Twiston-Davis. Master Chewy's come out and again bolstered up a novice handicap chase this season. I know he's beating horses who are the typical better chasers. They're going to make better chase, but they're running over hurdles. But he's still, there's still an animal there that he's beating, and he's still beating a good animal. And even going back to his Huntington when he beat Father of Jazz, school days over. The form isn't that race isn't electric, but it's still fair enough. He's still beating winners in waiting. And I just think there's a bit more upside for backing a horse who's proven on the ground. He's proven to go well first time out, and he's got good proven Grade 1 form there. So I'm with Hansard 7-4. I'll take on Rhubarb, and fingers crossed I am not sinking the ship on my own.
Now, that horse for the Betfair hurdle, Ash.
Which one?
Hansard. Okay. That screams Betfair hurdle to me. Rated 140, 129 before his last run at Aintree. They blew his mark a little bit, but can you imagine if he rocked up in a Betfair hurdle off like 129? He'd fucking piss it.
He is
Like,
entered for the Greatwood, I must say. So he is entered for the Greatwood. So I don't know what they're
do not blow that mark, Gary Moore, if you're listening, because that is a tasty mark to get stuck into. So
look. It could be a case of he doesn't get declared. So, but like again, he'll go off this price, or he'll go off evens. So like he won't go off much shorter. But so like it's probably not anti-post material, but I prefer Ansard over Reboard here. The Badger Beer final race we'll be looking at from Wincanton, the 3 o'clock, the big handicap worth. Would you guess, gentlemen, just 41 grand to the winner? I thought it was worth more, but oh well. But Frodon is looking to win it for the second time in a row. Bryony Frost, obviously in the saddle, 4-1. 300-5 for Paul Nichols again, 5-1. The big breakaway for those Tizzards we've mentioned quite a lot this video, 13-2. Ashtown Lad kicking off his season for Dan Skelton, 8-1. Complete Unknown is in there at the same price, but he looks Coral Gold Cup bound. Sam Brown, 8s. Dusart, 10s. I'm going to go Lee first of all. What do you fancy in the Badger Beer?
I'm coming back to another Tizzard horse and the big breakaway. Again, I just think they're more forward this season. The big breakaway actually goes well fresh. He was second, beating ahead of Haydock off a Venetia horse in a slog over 3 mile 1.5 on soft. That was off 144. Now off 149, but was only just touched off in a Welsh national off a pound lower. Like I say, I just think that them are more forward, and he's always threatening to put in a big handicap run. He tipped up, I think it was in a Paddy Power maybe he had. But like I say, last season, that was a big run first time out against a horse that loved the mud, the Venetia horse round Haydock. And I think this test will suit him. The one maybe I'd say was a danger would be 300-5. I think similar to what was said before with Nichols' horses being forward, Frodon, 11, 10 and 12, not one for me, although he does have a good record fresh. Just the age would definitely put me off. I think he's had his time in this race, and 300-5 might be the one to take the mantle off him. Stays very well. The McNeils, they've got Ella now doing some of the race planning, and she might be targeting, this might be an early season target. They've had plenty of good wins already this season, and yeah, 300-5 would be the danger for me. But I think the big breakaway still has slight juice in this mark, goes well fresh. Tizzard's in form. I'll take him each way.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you as well. The big breakaway, you said my case there for me already, so I don't really need to go over it. Think can still be well handicapped off 149. I vaguely remember speaking to Joe last season. I think it was after his Chepstow second in the Welsh National, and they sort of went, they instantly went Grand National. We're going to go fresh and we're going to go to the Grand National. And then they decided to go via the Ultima in the end, but. Look, he's a horse who goes well and fresh, and look, he's a very good horse. He's a classy horse. So 13-2, that's fine with me. I am going to have a second selection in this. I don't know. I know we don't really do this, but I am going to have a second one because I can't get away from him.
I do this every week. I always take.
That's fair. That's fair. Actually, that's fair. I'm gonna mention Sam Brown. Because I think he's a really classy horse and he's still well weighted. He went over to Punchestown on his last run and he should have won. He should have won, but he came down. He came down second last. That was a race won by Brideswell Lad. That was the Palmerstown House Pat Taff handicap chase. He should have won that race, and I was gutted he didn't because look, my money was on, so I was gutted. But I thought he was the winner from a long way out. He's really well handicapped in old form. Like starting last season, he's got to within 4 lengths of Brave Man's Game in the Charlie Hall, and behind Eldorado Allen, ahead of Paint the Dream and Ahoy Senor. That was when he was still running in graded company. He's absolutely minced Shamblu in the Betway handicap chase at Aintree. Killer Kane was back in third. T Clipper was back in fourth. That was off a mark of 147. Even going back further, second to Royal Bagai at Haydock in the Peter Marsh handicap chase in 2022. Comes here off a mark of 152. Now, look, if he's raring to go first time out, which he should be, he's a good horse, good but fresh. Then I think he's still got plenty of he can run well off that mark, but he could be looking at something else. Like he's got the national fence experience, having run in the national itself, so he could be thinking of something like the What's the one at Christmas? I keep forgetting the name of the one at Christmas. The Grand National Fences 3 mile. Ashtown Lad won it last year. Hang on, Ashtown Lad's on my page. I can say what it is. The Beecher. It could be looking at something like the Beecher, potentially. So that's obviously why it comes with caution. But look, if he's raring to go, then 8-1's a fine price, about a fine animal. Harry, Lee's made a case as to why Frodon can't win. You're about to make a case as to why he can.
I don't see any reason why he can't win.
He's older than you, probably.
Listen, he's the old boy of the party, but he's got some heart, and he hasn't run a bad race. When the conditions come right for him and everything falls into place, he always seems to run his race. And Paul Nicholls has came out and said that he's going to be running like for his life. I'd love to see him retire after this race. I'd love to see him win and go out on a win. He's off the same mark that he won this time last season. Bryony on board. The scripts are wrote already, aren't they? They're already there, and I'd love for Frodon to bounce out from the front and not see another rival. Now, I understand this is a much deeper race than what it was last season when he beat Lord of Cud by 2 lengths. But I don't think it didn't paint the picture that much, and he had to give so much weight away to Lord of Cud. And obviously Lord of Cud's in there now. He's off 131. He's lost his way, understandably. But yeah, 158, 12 stone on his back, Frodon, just one more time. One last rodeo for this horse.
The same mark as last season, right?
The same mark as last season that he won in this race.
Yeah, older on different ground, and just, I don't know, like, look, he just barely scraped home last season, like, and now he's a year further.
Yeah, but I think if he'd lost his ability, I don't think he'd still be in training.
Well, look, they're going to give him a swan song, really. Like you say, look, even if he goes close, he might get retired now. But
yeah, I understand that. I think 4-1's a little bit skinny. I won't be smashing into that price. I think that's a little bit skinny. But if you could get 5-1 on the day, or even now, if he stayed 4-1, I wouldn't put anyone off an each way bet. Ash, get the balaclavas out.
Do you think it's overbet, or just because it's Frodon and like?
What's that?
It'd be overbet, you know what I mean? Like he's short at 4s. Like he might be primed, he might be this is his last one, but
I could see it going the other way. You know, I could see it going the other way. I could see him drifting out a little bit, and you could have a few quid each way. You know he's going to be running on his merit, and you know he's going to be giving it his all, and that's all you can ask for. And he's been a great servant for Team Ditchit down the years. And Bryony gets on so well. The one worry that I'd have is Sam Brown. And Ash, you made a very good case there. I think Sam Brown is so well handicapped off 152. I mean, I think this is a top 150s horse in my opinion. This horse has been putting it up there at a very, very good level for some time now. And since his Aintree win, was it 2 seasons ago now? It was on Grand National Day. Aidan Coleman. When Aidan Coleman won on him, I thought, wow, this horse is well above the handicapper, and he's stayed at solid level all throughout. So yeah, Sam Brown the danger, but Frodon, I hope will win the Badger Bear.
Lovely stuff, gentlemen. The final handicap chase we'll be covering, another big one, the Grand Sefton. Will fire through this one, 2 mile 5 at Aintree over the national fences, and Guess Kiel topping the market 4-1 for Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerrero. Fantastic Lady 13-2, Born by the Sea 8s, Cooper's Cross 9s, Naslam 10s. Harry, what do you fancy? You fancy something towards top of the market?
Yeah, I just can't get away from it. Do you know what? If the shorties ain't going in on Saturday, I've got absolute bomb hope. If Paul Nicholls doesn't have a good day, because I've mentioned every Paul Nicholls horse on this podcast this evening. But no, Jess Gill is a horse I said at 6-1 or around that price on Sunday's show. He's got shorter and shorter, 4-1 now. Get those hammers out, everybody. But yeah, Oliver Greenall obviously had a super winner today in Iroko. I think he'll have another winner in Jess Gill. Jess Gill loves these fences. If I'm right in saying he was second to Ashtown Lad. In the Beecher, the race that Ash can't remember. But Ashtown Lad was off for his life that day, and they'd landed a right punt on him. So Henry Brooks on board again. This horse actually been to France his last 2 runs. He beat a horse called Echo de Champdou, and that race had a little bit of substance to it.
Where's the French form? Here we go. What do you know about this Echo de
know,
Champdou? Go on.
This French race had a bit of substance to it. Like, there's horses in there that have accumulated a lot of prize money and in some very tricky races. Now, I'm not saying I've been diving into races at Auteuil in the last 5 hours or something, but Jeskill, he won last time out and he led all the way, and it was just a very good performance. You like to see a horse that's on the up. And off 138, he just looks like he's a danger. He's a danger to all. £1 higher than his mark this time. He last went over the fences. Oh, for me, he's a get stuck in job at 4-1 even now.
Yeah, he'll be race fit. He'll be definitely race fit. Lee, you like one at a bit of a bigger price for the Sefton?
Yeah, look, I do see the case for Harry's horse. It's probably the most likely winner, but I'd take a couple of each way price. Born by the Sea of 140, ran the Grand National 6th in the Grand National of 143, behind Corrick Rambler, but Gallard de Manil was in there who won the National and Chase. Even your horse, what's your national horse?
Wamage. What an absolute boy.
That was 7th. He finished 6th, Born by the Sea. So takes to the national fences of £3 lower than the national run. Just hasn't been in the same form. But he could have each way squeak. But the one YCC's Porticino, I think it is, of Dr. Richard Newland's 25-1 shot. £7 higher mark off 127 than winning at Utoxeter. But absolutely bolted in. Look, I've crossed the Utoxeter bingo.
It's every week. Every week we have to get Utoxeter on the show.
But he's bolted up there in £7 higher mark. I think off a low weight and if a big price. Look, Dr. Richard Newland, he's won it the Grand National before with Pinot de Rey. So he knows how to get them jumping over these fences anyway, and it's just a big price, I thought.
He actually won a race with a Foxtrot racing horse. I can't think of the life. Tom Cannon was on board. I remember, I can't think. You'll have to come back to me, but I'm sure Tom Cannon won on a Foxtrot racing horse for Dr. Richard Newland it might have been this race or the Beecher.
You work on that in the background, Harry, and I can explain.
I'm gonna have to work on it.
Tell work on that in the background. Alive,
yeah. Nice case made there for. I love the pronunciation by the way. YCC's Porticino, great pronunciation, great name of a horse as well. Look, I'm gonna take 2 here again because there's 2 I can't get away from. One I'm slightly worried about, but I'll be disappointed if my money isn't on. First one and the main one's Fantastic Lady. Apparently this has been the plan for quite a while for Nicky Henderson, and it looks like still well handicapped. Was second in the Topham last season, went second to Bill Baxter. The pair pulled a mile clear of the third Killer Kane with Haldon Gold Cup back in 4th, Battle of Adoyne in 5th, Van der Bleu in 6th. So the race was full of class. Even before that, gave Zambella an absolute thrashing at Market Raisin on good to soft ground. That race behind Bill Baxter in the Topham, that was on soft ground. Then went to Sandown for the Grey 2 Oaks. He chased and behind Hewick. First flow was in 2nd. Eldorado Allen was back in 4th. Again, a race just full of class. Hewick, who was for all the life looked like he was going to finish 3rd or 4th in the Gold Cup, and then before coming down, First Flow has come out this season and finished 2nd to Boot Hill in a handicap for mark of 158. We're into an RPR of 163. Fantastic Lady, yes, was in receipt of weight from a plenty of them in the race because she is a mare, but she did it well enough. She travelled really well and she went really well through the race. She's got national fence experience, and it looks like this has been the plan for a while. She goes well fresh, having beaten Zambella fresh last season, so I'm with her at 13-2. But the big one that I'm interested to find out what's going on about him is Sail Away. Now, to regular views of the channel, people know that Sail Away is one of my horses to follow for this season. And basically, it's a case of, is this the plan from Dan Skelton, basically? Because if this is the plan, then this horse should really be going very close in a race like this. The last couple of seasons, they've been getting to grips with the horse, I think. He's come over from France. He had 510 days break between his French runnings and his first run for Dan Skelton. Then he had another 232 days off where he finished 6 lengths behind Corach Rambler, went second at Aintree, then disappointed at Utoxeter, then finished second to Dusart, then had another 121 days break, then slightly disappointed at Aintree, they had a good race, then finally got his first win at Warwick by bolting up by 20 lengths, and then had another 298 days off and finished second to Jetois over 2 mile free at Chepstow on soft ground. Again, that's good form because Jetois come out and won the Old Roan since, and then absolutely bolted up at Ayr last time out when we last saw him at the back end of last season. So they're finally getting to grips with the horse. I think it was something I read or watched from Paul Nicholls the other day. He said these horses coming over from France, they just take a bit more time to sort of acclimatise to where they are now. And it looks like they've finally got hold of him. Look, he seems to be a horse that can go well enough fresh, although he hasn't won from a big break, but he's finished second to Corach Rambler. He's finished a good third at Aintree and then finished second to Jetois. If he's a horse who goes well really fresh this weekend, and he's a horse who's been planned for it, conditions will be in his favour. 2.5 miles. He hasn't got national fence experience, but he jumped beautifully at Ayr, so it shouldn't suggest he won't. And Harry Skelton's already booked. I know I've picked both of the top weight horses there, and they'll both be carrying 12 stone, but 10-1 about Sail Away and 13-2 about Fantastic Lady. I'll take the pair to War, and we'll see.
Win the top now that you've said that. He may be targeted at the top, and if he's you've said it there, he may be targeted at the top.
I think Sail Away, I think for Sail Away, the race at Christmas, that is the Topham, right? I'm mixing up the 3 mile Beecher
national meeting. Yeah,
I think Beecher will potentially be in the back of the mind of Dan Skelton, and if it is, then this will be perfect prep to get him over the national fences. But if it isn't, and he looks to be on a going day on Saturday, then look, he could be really dangerous at 10-1. Harry, before we go into the Irish stuff, have you got the horse?
I have, and it was actually a little mistake on mine, but Hogan's Height won the 2019 renewal for Foxtrot Racing. I was right in that, but it was the wrong trainer. Jamie Snowden was the trainer. However, I knew Dr. Richard Newland had won the Sefton before, and it was the year after. So 2020, he won it with a horse called Bow Bay, and Charlie Hammond was on board. So there's a little bit for the statos. But apologies, I thought I had it right. Hogan's Height, I knew he'd won.
You're half right here and half right there, but you weren't fully
it was a good,
right.
There's for the stats, though. There's a good stat. I can do that every week. I can be a stato. That's what I can do.
You can finally be useful. That's fine. You can finally be useful. Gentlemen, we'll go over to the Grade 1 Ladbrokes Champion Chase. We did a full preview, and we did a big talk about this race last week. If you haven't already watched that, there'll be something on the screen in the top corner over here. You can't see my arms, but they'll be over here somewhere to watch last week's video. So do go check that out for a full debrief on this race, because it hasn't changed much since. Gerri Colombe top in the market 4-5. Menelarindo 7-2, Envoy Allen 5s, Conflated 11-2, Ashtree Meadow 12s, Delta Work 12s. Gentlemen, seconds job on this. Has anything changed, Lee?
No. I'll just quickly, 10 seconds, run through it. Manila Indo, his target will probably be the Savills Chase on New Year's Day. Conflated, disappointed so badly. Couldn't beat a low-rated horse the last time. And Gerri Colombe win.
Yeah, well done.
In for the belt. Harry, is it a ditto for you?
Pissing. Gerri Colombe win this, have a little break, back for Christmas, piss that, go a little break, and then he'll be back for the Gold Cup. I think he'll be close in the Gold Cup, I really do.
Lovely, you're well within the belt, and I am conflated. theme of the episode.
There's the one. 1, 2, 3. No,
conflated, race fit. Obviously targeted at this race for sure by Gordon Elliott, and conditions will handle whatever.
Look, they will not let that horse. I nearly called it something else.
I knew what you were going to say.
They'll not let him beat Gerri Colombe, which bar the RSE, the Brown Advisory, would be unbeaten. They'll not let that horse beat that stable star. Like, they'll just shut up counting, will you? But look, they'll not let it happen. It's simple as Gerri will be forward. He's been ready last week. He'll go and win this Christmas, win the cup.
Conflated will be race fit. He'll be targeted for the race and
win cross country.
And no, I don't know, can't count that at all. And yeah, so I'll be with Conflated because I absolutely love the horse. And lest we forget, he was third in the Gold Cup last season. People seem to be forgetting that and already writing the horse off, even though he's third in the Gold Cup behind Galopan and Brave Man's Game.
Right, what was that horse that finished second to Manello the last time?
Manila Indo.
Oh, Hurricane George, don't get started on this, for God's sake.
Just look, he was more deflated than conflated. It's simple as like.
Anyway, anything else, gentlemen? Anything else or naps? I'll go Harry first of all.
Yeah, you'll see the Ryanair winner on Thursday. Alaho will be back in the Clom and Oil. Three's on at the minute, but you'll listen. He'll win the Ryanair. Nothing naps for me. Jess Gill in the Sefton. I think that horse is so well in, and I think he'll bolt in. Other than that, there is a decent little race in the Silver Bowl. I want to say it's the novices chase. Stay Away Faye could make his return. The likes of there's a horse. Jamie Snowden's had a horse, Bally Desmond, and now this horse has been dipping in and out and not going and not fulfilling the entries. I just think it's a little bit interesting. He was declared to go to Wetherby in the Apple Away race, declared to go today in the Iroko race, and has been not declared, but entered in the Future Stars. Just think that's a little bit interesting. The likes of Grey Dawning's in there. Stay Away Faye. Could be a good race, that.
Very much could be. Lee, anything else or naps?
Master Chewy in the 135 at Aintree. Jump for fun. I think can do it again. £10 rise, but murdered them the last day. I think he can handle it. And the race after that, Imperial Merlin is a horse I really like. Bolted up in air over 3 miles. Runs in the Potemps qualifier of 127. Went up £6 from 121 from the last day. I did speak to Ian Robinson, who owns Imperial Racing. He says the ground first time out might not be what the horse wants. Who might to go against the owner, but I do think the horse is ground versatile. One on heavy, one on good to soft. I think and good. Handles any conditions for me. The owner did say that it was probably not what he wants. Wouldn't like to see any more rain, but I do think Imperial Merlin is one to watch out for. My nap, I will go on Friday in the Haldon Gold Cup Warlord.
Nice. I like it a lot. Anything else for me? I'm going to have a couple, and there are provisos on a lot of them. Thursday, Newbury, 12:05, Grivatana for Paul Nicholls. I think this horse is well handicapped, but needs decent ground. So it's good soft currently. If they get any more rain, it turns up being soft-sided, good soft or soft ground, then probably goes with a warning. But if it's good ground, I'd say it'd be quite hard to beat Grivatana. Politicus is in the 150 at Newbury. Fergal O'Brien thinks a fair whack about this mare, and she ran a fair race last time out, but looks like seasonal reappearance under the belt. She can go well at Newbury. Can Do Kids in the 3 o'clock at Newbury for Paul Nicholls. I watched something or I read something from Nicholls, and his quotes was not scratched the surface yet with this horse. So Can Do Kid in the 3 o'clock is definitely one to watch in the handicap chase. He could be quite interesting. It's a tough enough race. It's actually priced up and it's 9-2 It's a tough enough race with Gallop de Chasse in there for Venetia Williams and Killer Clown. But I'd say with a run under his belt, we can see a good race from Can Do Kid. Where else are we? Friday, Fontwell 2:30, Mariko de Vassi. Yeah, I know. I'm going for it. I'm absolutely going for it this week. This could end in an absolute disaster. But 2:30 at Fontwell is Mariko de Vassi. I was absolutely convinced this horse was going to win the Welsh Champion Hurdle, and he didn't. If it turns up better ground at Fontwell on Friday, which hopefully it does, it's soft ground currently, but if it turns up better ground, I think we'll have a better chance, because I think this horse is still really well handicapped, and he dropped £4 to the run last time out. Hartwood, one of my horses to follow, is entered for a beginner's chase. Down Royal 3:12 is an absolute scorching beginner's chase. I'm fairly sure it's the one that's got got found.
That's it.
Yeah, like American Mike's in there, Colonel Mustard, Cool Survivor, Corbett's Cross, found a 50, it all in there. But I chance Hartwood personally for me. and Wincanton 12:40 Saturday Meatloaf for Paul Nicholls. Very nice horse indeed. Lovely stuff, gentlemen. That's all we've got time for. Lee, I'll quickly go over to you because Sunday show has been going very well over the last few weeks, and obviously you got one this weekend.
Yeah, 7 o'clock on Sunday night. We'll do our Twitter or X, whatever you call it now, but space, and yeah, can listen into that. We've got the Chelt Mental lads, Dave and Jamie Wren. Them will be on, and they'll discuss the races like from today and the week gone by, and give us some anti-post selections. So yeah, 7 o'clock Sunday night.
Brilliant stuff. If you did enjoy this video, please do like, subscribe. The support on our first few videos of the season has been fantastic. So thank you very much. The likes have been brilliant. The views have been brilliant. If you have opinions, if you think I'm wrong, which is probably the case, if you think Lee's wrong, if you think Harry's wrong, comment down below why we're wrong, and we'll get answering them away. If you've got a fancy for the weekend, comment that down below. What did you say there, Lee?
Was it last week or the week before? Someone says, I agree with Harry, but he's mental.
You said that?
Someone put like something like that. I completely agree with Harry, but he's off his nut. Sorry, it was.
You're not far off.
It was true.
It was probably my burner account, to be fair. So yeah, no, if you've got opinions,
you agree with me. You agree with me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It wasn't me then. If you've got an opinion,
I love you too, Ash.
Drop it down below, and we'll respond to it in due course. But we'll be back 10:30 a.m. Saturday on our Twitter, Only Fools Love Horses Racing, for the Saturday live, covering plenty of racing, our final fancies of all of the information available to us. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly, and we'll see you very, very soon.